Guys, today is Wednesday and we are 7 days out. We are 7 days out of our exam. Now, yesterday, guys, I did paper 1, question 1 and question 2. If you haven't seen that video, guys, for your sake, I implore you, please go watch that video because these are going to be a gradual build-up. Once you've watched that video, then come back and let's now focus on paper 1, question number 3. Now, guys, when it comes to paper 1, question number 3, this for me is the tricky question. And I always say this for paper 1. Why is that? Because paper 1, question 2 is the language question. Language is taught from year 5 upwards. There's kids in year 5 that know what a simile is and personification, onomatopoeia. But structure, other than long and short sentences and maybe foreshadowing, is not taught as much and as explicitly. So guys, look, in this video, I'm not going to go over structural devices, but I'll say the same thing that I said yesterday. On my channel, guys, somewhere, if you scroll through, there is a video that's called, I think, 40 or 25 or 30 structural devices. Watch that video, guys, and learn some structural devices if you don't know them already, and then come back and complete the video, because we can't engage with this question. You can't do the structure question if you don't know structural devices. So guys, honestly, go back, have a look at that video. If you don't want to watch my video, go find somebody else's video, but really learn structural devices and then come back and watch this video. But for those of you who know maybe 10 structural devices, let's now go over how to approach paper 1, question 3. Guys, so when we are looking at paper 1, question number 3, guys, when we are looking at paper 1, question number 3, it's the same format and structure as paper 1, question number 2, in the sense that this question, guys, is also worth 8 marks. For an 8-mark question, guys, we are looking to spend 10 minutes. And for a 10-minute question, guys, we are looking to write 2 good quality paragraphs. Now, what's the paragraph structure, guys? The paragraph structure is the same as it was. We are following Pretzel. Point, reference, technique, explain, zoom in, explain, and then link everything back to the top. Now, there's one very important thing, guys. As this is the structure question, something very interesting comes to light. And what's that? In the language question, we picked out a language technique and we zoomed into a word, like a verb or an adverb or a noun or an adjective. For this question, you are not allowed to mention anything to do with language. You can't mention similes, you can't mention metaphors, you can't mention verbs. That's the previous question. This question is specifically focusing on structure. Therefore, when we pick a technique, we pick a structural technique. When we zoom in the same quote, we look for another structural device. And the last point, guys, is when it comes to our referencing. Normally for the structure question, we're like referring to like a whole paragraph or 3-4 lines. Therefore, for this question, we don't have to quote. So you don't have to say like the actual quote. Just say from lines 1 to line 5, from lines 3 to line 6. It will save you a lot of time. All right, guys, now I'm going to switch to the board and we're going to go over how to plan and write up an answer for paper 1, question number 3. Hey guys, so we are now looking at the structure question. For this question, guys, it very clearly says you must now look at the entire source. We are no longer restricted with lines. And it says, guys, the same question that comes up every time. How has the writer structured the text to interest the reader? So how does the writer use structure to interest the reader? As always, guys, it's an 8-mark question, so we are going for 2 paragraphs, 5 minutes per paragraph. Now, guys, there's not much else when it comes to this question, other than the simple fact, guys, as always, we are still looking for Pretzel. So every structural point we make, we have to talk about how the writer creates interest. Now, guys, please, 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 please do not be that student who says this. The writer creates interest. The writer creates interest by using a short sentence. That's your technique. Tell me about the interest that's been created. The writer creates interest by display by portraying how the mountain is about to attack Zoe. That's the interesting part. Then you explain how this is done by the foreshadowing. Does that make sense, guys? Your point cannot be your technique. So please don't write, the writer creates interest by using a short sentence. Tell me the interest that's created. The writer creates interest by building up tension. That's a rubbish thing to say, but just for argument's sake. The writer creates interest by building up tension. This can be seen through the short sentence. So guys, make sure you don't put your technique in your point. But that being said, guys, let's now begin to plan our response. So it's the same, guys, when it comes to, paper 1, question number 2. We're gonna plan 2 paragraphs. Now, for the first part that I'm gonna use, guys, I'm gonna use lines 28. Guys, for the first part that I'm gonna use, I will be using lines 28 and 29. But at the edge of the slope near the curtain of the trees, she felt a small slab of snow slip from underneath her. Okay, but at the edge of the slope near the curtain of the trees, she felt a small slab of snow slip from underneath her. Now guys, as always, you should know this by now, this is my reference. Now, what's my technique? My technique that's used here, guys, is zoom in. Guys, my technique that the writer has used here is zoom in. And my Z part of the paragraph, guys, when I zoom in, is going to be foreshadowing. And it's the idea that if things are slipping from underneath her feet, the writer is foreshadowing that something bad is happening. But at the edge of the slope near the curtain of the trees, she felt a small slab of snow slip from underneath her. So what's my point? How does the writer create interest? Guys, the writer creates interest because let's say he creates a tense atmosphere. Let's leave it at that. It's just a plan. And this here, guys, would be our point. That's the P, R, T, and Z now complete. Then, guys, let's move on to my second paragraph. Now, for my second paragraph, guys, when it comes to my technique, I am going to use all this part here. So I'm going to be quoting lines 41, 42, and 43. So, guys, lines 41, 42, and 43 are my reference. Now, what's my technique, guys? My technique, guys, it shall be dialogue, and my zooming in, I'm gonna zoom in for this quote, I'm gonna zoom in to repetition, and for this one over here, guys, for both of these quotes, I will be zooming in to repetition, but specifically the repetition of commands. Now, even though commands, imperatives are a language technique, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact that it's being repeated. So I'm giving a structural analysis. Now, what's my point? In this part, guys, the writer creates interest because these structural techniques show panic and they show danger. And that is my point complete. So, guys, when we look at these 2 paragraphs, I've done my P, I've done my R, I've done my T, and I've done my Z. I am now ready to write out my response. But before we move on, guys, I want to teach you guys a quick hack for the structure question. There are 8 structural devices, guys. There are 8 structural devices that you will always find. Because one of the hardest things, guys, when it comes to structure is I find that students don't know how to pick structural devices. So I'm going to give you a hack. These 8 structural devices, guys, I promise I will give you £1,000 if I'm wrong. These 8 structural devices can be found in any extract. Number 1 is the introduction of a character. Number 2 is zooming in. And every time a writer zooms in, they have to zoom out. Number 4 it's a shift in focus. Number 5, guys, there will always be a long paragraph. Number 6, there'll always be a short paragraph. Number 7, there'll always be a long sentence. And number 8, there'll always be a short sentence. Always. Now, of course, learn the others: foreshadowing, flashback, dialogue. But these 8, if you're stuck in your exam and you can't find them, these 8 will be in every single extract. Let's prove it. Number 1, guys, we're looking for the introduction of a character. There we have it, guys. There is number 1. The character that's been introduced is the character of Zoe. Number 2, what did I say, guys? Number 2 was? Number 2, I believe, was zooming in. Okay, it was snowing again. Gentle 6-point flakes from a picture book was settling upon her jacket sleeve. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Her jacket sleeve. This is zooming in. The writer zooms in to the snow settling upon her jacket sleeve. And then straight away, guys, straight after, the writer zooms out into the mountain air. So 1, 2, 3 are done. Shift in focus. Shift in focus. Where does the writer shift the focus? There's quite a few, but I would talk about the shift in focus happening over here. Talking about how Zoe's pulling the air into her lungs. And that can also be seen as zooming in. Now, number 5, guys, I had long paragraph and 6 with short paragraph. Let's zoom out. Let's zoom out, guys. On this page, where is my longest paragraph? I'm guessing it's probably that one here. So this here would be my long paragraph. Now, where's my short paragraph? I would probably pick this one over here. Now, where's what's number 7, guys? Number 7 is a long sentence. Let's go for this one here, guys. This one here is 2.5 lines. This can be seen as a long sentence. And my short sentence is right there, guys. Yep, let's do it. We have 2 short sentences back to back. Now, what was my point there? My point was this, guys. On Wednesday, if you're stuck in your exam and you can't find structural devices, just remember that there was a teacher on YouTube who told you that no matter what happens, these 8 will always be there. And I promise you guys, next Wednesday on the 18th, when you're sitting in your exam, these 8 will be in your exam. And all you do, guys, is you pick them. Now, obviously, guys, learn others, but this is a nice, easy hack to show you how to find structural devices should you be stuck. But nonetheless, guys, here's my first paragraph planned, and here is my second paragraph planned. Okay, now let's write out one paragraph. In source A, the writer creates interest through creating an extremely tense atmosphere. The reader is almost waiting for a disaster to happen. This can be seen on lines 28 and 29. On lines 28 and 29, that's my reference. Where the writer zooms in to Zoe's movements. Okay, P, R, and T is complete. Guys, P, R, and T is complete. As always, guys, I want to run through and get them out of the way as fast as possible. So there's my P, and there's my R, and there's my T. In source A, the writer creates interest through creating an extremely tense atmosphere. Oops. Tense atmosphere. The reader is almost waiting for a disaster to happen. This can be seen on lines 28 to 29, where the writer zooms in to Zoe's movements, full stop. And now explain the effect. By the writer zooming in to Zoe's movements, they give these movements an unusual importance. Why has the writer now all of a sudden decided to focus on her foot movements? As a result, impression is created that danger is incoming. Furthermore, the foreshadowing created, that's my zooming in, by the snow slipping beneath her, clearly indicates that if she does not act, notice, or change her movements, this small slab of snow will eventually get bigger. I'm going to end it here, guys. I'm going to end it here. Therefore, the tension and concern for Zoe simply builds throughout the extract. As a reader, you are interested because you are waiting to see the result of this foreshadowing. Oh guys, my handwriting is terrible, but I hope you can read it. All right, and there we have a pretzel paragraph. So we had, let me label it up, guys. Let me label it up. So we had P, R, T, E, Z, E, and L. And in an exam setting, guys, all you would do is you would repeat this twice. Guys, in an exam setting, all you would do is you would repeat this twice. Now, even though I was talking, I was pausing, it's definitely feasible to do two of these in 5 minutes. In source A, the writer creates interest through creating an extremely tense atmosphere. The reader is almost waiting for a disaster to happen. This can be seen on lines 28 to 29, where the writer zooms in to Zoe's movements. By the writer zooming in to Zoe's movements, they give these movements an unusual importance. Out of all the times, why is the writer now focusing on her feet? Why is the writer now all of a sudden decided to focus on her foot movements? As a result, an impression is created that danger is incoming. Furthermore, the foreshadowing created by the snow slipping beneath her, clearly indicates that if she does not act, notice or change her movements, the small slab of snow will eventually get bigger. Therefore, the tension and concern for Zoe simply builds throughout the extract. As a reader, you were interested because you are waiting to see the result of this foreshadowing. And there we have a response to the structure question. Guys, I hope that made sense. Please practice. My advice to you guys now is, after all these videos, don't just turn it off and go on TikTok and have a jolly. Please have, oh wow, did I say have a jolly? I'm getting old. But guys, please practice. So please pull up a question number 3, find your 2 pieces of quotes, find your 2 techniques, plan 2 paragraphs on the sheet, and then write them out. 2 paragraphs, 5 minutes each, in a total of 10 minutes. Timing will be important, so it's the practice that you need. Now guys, tomorrow at 7 p.m, we will be going over this one. We will be going over a big question, guys, and that is the 20 marker. So Thursday, guys, we'll do the 20 marker, and Friday we'll do question 5. I think I've spoken about question 5 so much, but one last time, putting it all in one video so you have everything you need, guys, and that will be Friday, 7 p.m. Guys, I hope you're working along with me. So I hope you've done paper 1, question 2, and question 3. Please practice these 3 questions. So when we go over question 4 tomorrow, you can simply add question 4 to your list. Guys, I hope you found the video beneficial. It's been Mr. Everything English. Peace.